Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Jahliali. In this incarnation, I am here today to talk about the energies of this next week from today, June 1st, until June 8. So, this week is the last week of Jupiter in Gemini. We have the entrance of Jupiter in Cancer on June 9th. You have the video already. And you are going to see that personal planets are ending transit and moving on other signs. So we have activations with Jupiter in Gemini as a goodbye. And all start with Venus in Aries on June 4th, creating a sextile with Jupiter in Gemini. So this could be linked with taking an idea to action that produces growth. This could be a big project that is initiated and that is very connected with connected with a desire of the soul. Also, this could be linked with connections that expand our opportunities. We have new ways we talk with someone else, and that opens other paths for us that are expansive, or a message that could be amplified and that is reaching more people if you're working with social media or generating content. Could be a moment where you take an initiative and that reaches many people. So it is a very nice transit. Every sextile requires for us to make a move, to take the opportunity. It is not only about flowing with experience. So on June 5th, Mercury in Gemini is going to create a square with North Node and South Node in Virgo, North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo, karma nodes. All of this is connected. The sky is a whole thing. So every time that we have squares with the karma nodes, this implies that we have to make a decision. Life could present a crossroads. This could be big decisions, or for some people, it is, things that are emerging in the daily life. But even though those decisions could be something, that is appearing on our routine, in fact, they are marking processes in which we have to decide from taking a new step, doing something different, breaking a pattern, which is the evolutionary aspect of the North Node in Pisces, and transcending an old space or an old dynamic that is keeping us in a limited space. So with Mercury in Gemini, in square with the South Node in Virgo, many times this could be traduced in overthinking, an overcharged mind, analysis, paralysis, this kind of effect, indecision, many ideas, trying to control the experience by thinking about the experience and thinking about how things are going to be developed in the future. So here we have to reconcile our rational aspect and our intuition, because North Node in Pisces, it is pretty much linked with listening to how we are feeling in terms of doing this or that, assuming that direction or that one. It is very linked with how am I feeling about this, and surrendering to that feeling. That is our intuition talking to ourselves. And at the same time, we have to put certain order and focus into our ideas to move into that direction. Because as I said many times, the shadow of Mercury in Gemini could be opening too much directions. So that could be a mechanism to not make a decision. But at the same time, that same day, Mercury in Gemini is creating a sextile with Mars in Leo, which is an aspect that enables taking an opportunity to move forward. It is about taking action, and that action could be linked again in projects and things that are leading us to share our talents, to share our light, to create something that brings a lot of enjoyment to. It is this playful energy, the one of Gemini and Leo. So those aspects accompany also the sextile between Venus in Aries and Jupiter in Gemini. Also on June 6th, Venus is moving out of Aries and enters in Taurus, which is its domicile, its house. Venus in here feels very, very good. And this is about connecting with pleasure, connecting with the enjoyment through the senses, through the simple things too, because this is something that Taurus like, connecting with the sunlight, enjoying food, physical contact. But also Venus in Taurus, it is very linked with how we are going to invest our energy, time, and resources. And it is about recognizing what is truly valuable of, investing those things. And the transit of Venus in Taurus starts with a square with Pluto in Aquarius, retrograde in Aquarius, that is perfected on June 9th. So this implies a transformation. Could be linked with a transformation of dynamics in relationships or regarding our resources, where we are not giving value to ourselves, or we are not giving value to things that are very fertile in our experience. Every time that we have a tension with Pluto, this invites us to deepen in our shadow. I mean, to reveal, to bring light to our shadow, to recognize it. And also, aspects with Pluto could imply a death, an ending that enables for us to continue to the next phase. The ending, the death could be symbolic. For other people, could be, literally, perhaps the ending of a relationship. But for other people, it is an ending of aspects of themselves that they have to leave behind in order to be transformed. I am going to talk more about this transit later. Okay, that same day, Mercury in Gemini creates a sextile with Chiron in Aries. Today, the conjunction between Venus and Chiron is perfected today, June 1st. So this is about communicating vulnerabilities, perhaps having a conversation in which we are able to see our wounds, fears, and insecurities from another perspective, or taking away seriousness. Could be a conversation with other person or with ourselves, an inner dialogue, and to see how many times that what created the sensation that we had less capacity to do something, because many times the wound of Chiron, it is felt that way, like I don't have the development of that thing in the same way that others. And also the Chironian wound could be linked with difficulties and painful experiences. And this is an opportunity to see that as a means to express a gift that can actually contribute with other people. And I am going to put an example that a man that I mentioned many times, which is Viktor Frankl, this psychiatrist that was taken to the concentration camp. And I discovered recently that he had Chiron in Aries. So his life, his initiatives, he received a great damage. And in fact, he went to the camp and with this manuscript, this thing that reflected all his investigation, all his experience, and it was withdrawn from him. In fact, even his identity was taken because he became a number. But in that in that experience that was manifested in his life, that marked, was a milestone, marked a before and an after, that man connected with light through that experience. And he recognized that what gave sense, what gave a strength to open his way was was connecting with a sense. And then he writes the famous book that I don't think that I know in the traduction in English exactly, the men seeking for sense. I don't know if that is the traduction, because I read it in Spanish. So, okay, I was about to look for it, but I won't. Wait a minute. I am telling this story because this is very connected with the next transit, which is Mercury in Gemini in a conjunction with Jupiter in Gemini. In fact, Mercury is accompanying the process of Jupiter moving into Cancer. And this is happening the sky is happening as a whole again. In here, we have a disposition for our ideas can be can be focused in a horizon that is truly aligned with purposes that are opening up for us. Because, the shadow of Mercury in Gemini could be opening too much directions. This doesn't mean that having many things to do is something wrong. Our horizons, our purpose could be linked with many ideas, but it is true that many times we have to put a boundary to some of them, and to really know what is contributing with a purpose or not. And we are going to see that later Saturn is also participating here. So could also be a transit where we are reconnecting with the confidence in the things that are being opened, because this is an opening of new experiences. Jupiter entering in a cardinal sign, and Mercury and Jupiter in Gemini could be communicating something very important, something that emerges from our truth, could be a truth that expands the mind of other people. Great news, also news that are expanded through social media or through, people telling that to each other. And therefore, it is important to have in account the other polarity, which is be aware of what are you talking and how much you are talking. Many times we could talk more. There's a tendency here with Mercury and Jupiter to, tell all of our truths, and not all of our truths have a true purpose to be communicated. Silence also has a purpose many times. This doesn't mean to lie. Of course, telling the truth is something wonderful, but many times, perhaps when we are creating a project, it is important to wait until we give form to those things before telling to certain people. Also, trust in certain people, it is important to be genuine, because many times Mercury and Jupiter could be this optimism in denial of reality, or making decisions that are taken from this space, in this optimism that is, denying, which is a shadow of Jupiter. Other thing that could be manifested is excessive directions or thoughts that are distracting us instead of helping us to put the focus in what we recognize that is part of the sense of our path. So Mercury later that day enters in Cancer, and it does so in a square with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Also Jupiter does it. So I'm going to deepen in this in another video. I commented a little bit in the video of Jupiter in Cancer, but there is a great emotional influence in our thoughts. Our thoughts are very influenced by our emotions and vice versa. So this could be traduced as intuition to focus and what is truly expansive and nourishing, but also could be linked with all forms of approaching the experience emerging, that are anchoring ourselves in something that is familiar but is not helping us to grow. We have the invitation in here to to involve new experiences, and these new experiences require responsibility, initiative to build them and to sustain them, even if we don't have the whole plan clear up, because Neptune in here, it is more about how you feel about this, again, how you feel about this direction, and Neptune and Pisces are the same. But this requires a great inner listening, which with the energy of Cancer, this can flow to put a boundary to fantasies, expectations disconnected from reality, which mean trying to escape from ourselves. And the experience could also present limitations, so we can question ourselves, our directions. The visions of Neptune that are being born from higher dimensions of the soul, are approaching to ourselves. They are not creating an illusory veil, and many times it is very fine, the line, in some cases, because there is this a space in which we have to learn to believe and to build our dreams, but also to identify when we are focusing in things that are not responding to what our identity came here to express. So I'm going to expand on this later. It is a powerful transit. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.